Deshaun Watson has emerged with an edge over Shedeur Sanders and has the inside track to be named the Browns QB1. Browns Executive Vice President J.W. Johnson spoke with ESPN Cleveland Radio yesterday about the quarterback competition and Deshaun's place in it.
Deshaun looks great, by the way. When you guys were out there, he's done a great job. He looks healthy. He's in a great headspace. We'll see how it all shakes out. There is an ongoing competition, but, you know, he's got nothing to lose. And if he's our starting quarterback, I know there are people that probably won't be supportive, but they should need to be supportive as much as they can. And if he plays great, awesome. If he doesn't, then, you know, it is what it is, and we're looking ahead to the future.
Jeff Darlington, you thought that was a fascinating thing for a person in his position to say. How come?
I don't know if it's because I'm piling on because it's the Browns, but just the whole vibe of if it doesn't work, if he doesn't play well, it is what it is. F it. It just did not feel like it projected like this crazy amount of confidence. I'm probably overthinking it. It just, to me, if I'm the quarterback in that situation, like,
definitely not.
I don't know. I'm not.
Okay,
I'm not.
So here's the thing. When you talk about Deshaun Watson, the conversation is about football and it's about other things besides football. And the other things besides football are so unpleasant that it takes it overshadows the football part. But this is a sports show. Let's have a football conversation. I have wondered for a while now. I mean, there was a moment in time when we said if Deshaun Watson was on Kansas City, we'd be talking about him like he was every bit as good as Patrick Mahomes. That's how good we thought this guy was once upon a time. And I know he hasn't played in years. And I know the extenuating circumstances, the other parts of this are just so distasteful to talk about. But purely from a football standpoint, there's every reason to think that he should be the best quarterback on that team and that he should be able to become a starter in the NFL. Nick, you're looking at me skeptically. Yeah. He shouldn't be one of the 32 best quarterbacks in the world despite all the injuries.
At $258 million?
Yeah.
He wasn't the last time he was out there. I think that's the part, going to your point, Greeny, just the football side of it was in 2024 when he was out there as a starter for the Cleveland Browns. It wasn't pretty. So I think to what JW was saying, like, yes, I agree. If throughout the entire offseason, if he proves to be better than the other quarterbacks in the room, he should be a starter. But I think that speaks more to the other quarterbacks in the room, that a guy that wasn't good in 2024, that has 2 Achilles injuries, is now going to be the best quarterback to lead you forward. I don't know if that's a good sign.
I completely agree with every word of that, J-Mac. I will say this. This is the first time in a long time that Deshaun Watson's had a normal offseason, right?
Good point.
He's not rehabilitating from a torn Achilles. He's not dealing with the in-your-face legal issues that obviously he's been dealing with over a long period of time. And so you wonder, is there a normal offseason in his life? Can he be that? If he can be that, that would seem to be the only way he could be on the runway to being any part of what he was. At one point, Greeny, it wasn't just that we thought if he was at Kansas City, he was compared often at the beginning of their careers to Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
And he got the big contract first. Again, what do they owe him? What's left? 2 years worth? I'd be surprised if he's not the starter. Look, that franchise, I know, it's changed over and changed over and changed over. There's still let us cover ourselves with this decision to pay him this much money. Question is, how palatable will this be in that community?
Yeah.
And that's where you cannot entirely separate the football from the real life decision dilemma here.
I think that's right. Nick, get in here.
Yeah, I also just don't understand from like a long-term perspective what you're planning. So like if he plays well, this is the final year of his contract. So he has to play so well that you think that you're in a position to extend him again with a big contract when this team also has 3 first-round picks and one of the deepest drafts that we've seen, at least it's projected to be as far as quarterbacks concerned, in a while. Like, I'm not sure that this works out even if he does perform the way you want him to perform. So I'm not sure that they're not disappointed, and the structure that they built was kind of blown up because Deshaun Watson was injured and didn't perform the way that they expected, even though they knew the baggage that he was bringing in. If they sign up for that again, It just doesn't make sense. It seems like a pretty bad strategy going forward.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're all talking me out of everything that I said as we're having this conversation. Jeff, finish it up.
They drafted Taylor Green.
It is the worst contract and transaction in the history of sports, and everything that is spoken about it is just trying to justify the egregious nature of the entire thing. They need to move on somehow, and after this year, it seems that time will come.
That's a much better take than I had. That's an infinitely better. What can I say? It's a much better take than I had. I would like to erase everything. That was a good day. We've had a lot of fun over the years, Neek and I, and he always brings a unique perspective. So, Domonique, now that the draft is over and the dust has settled and your dancing remains outstanding, they got a couple of different takes out of you. Give us your first unique perspective.
Yeah, I was shocked to learn that Ohio State lost any games last year. They had 11 players drafted, 4 of them in the top 11, and 2 of the players were not eligible. Would have been 6 players in the top 11 if their quarterback and their receiver were eligible this year. That team was loaded, but at least they weren't as embarrassing as Clemson, who had 9 players drafted and didn't even end the year ranked. So I don't know how these teams go about acquiring all this talent and not producing. In Ohio State's defense, they did lose to the eventual national champ and only lost 1 regular season game. But that team is loaded. It feels like how Miami used to be. And Miami only lost if the refs cheated in the national championship.
Okay, that's a very good take in a lot of different ways. All right, Neek, keep the dancing going and give us a second unique perspective.
Yeah, I think the Houston Texans' incredible defense might have just became perfect because, speaking of Ohio State, they picked up Caden McDonald, who had first-round talent, and the one potential weakness of that Texans defense was not their top-ranked pass defense, it was their rush defense, and Caden McDonald is the giant nose tackle that 3-4 defense needs to stop the run and stuff up the middle. So no one could breathe much against that defense last year. Now they're going to be completely suffocated as long as Caden McDonald can slide into that defensive front and stem the running attack a little bit. That team, it gets scarier and scarier.
Yeah, he was another one of those great Buckeye defenders from this draft. The quarterback gets it together there in Houston, and they picked up his 5th-year option. Texans are a team to watch this year. Okay, I'm moving a little closer because I like your last unique perspective.
Yeah, I'm excited about the Jets. Right now, they are nesting like an expecting mother for their future quarterback. This draft this year, they got a tight end and a receiver to go along with Garrett Wilson. The last 2 drafts, they got tackles to protect that quarterback. And they got Geno Smith this year, who is a very good, functional NFL quarterback. So they do not have to spend this year toiling away. The players they've acquired will get better because they have a good quarterback there to help them develop. And on top of it all, they don't even have to do any nonsense like tanking because they got 3 picks in next year's draft. If they aren't bad enough to get a high pick, one of those other teams will be. And if that doesn't work out, they'll package them all up and move up to the top. Your team, Greeny, it's only been a few months. They're being run kind of well.
This GM knows what he's doing. Darren Mucci, he does. He knows what he's doing. J-Mac and I were talking about it at breakfast this morning. This general manager knows what he's doing. Like, I got that move. But the general manager knows what he's doing. They got 3 first-round picks next year. We got weapons on the outside. We got 2 good tight ends that we drafted in the last couple of years. We got Breece Hall and improving defense. I think we're getting somewhere. All right, Domonique.
A lot of dancing, Greeny.
I like that one a lot. We're going to work on my dance moves, but all things considered, I like the takes. Now here comes another one, and this one's from the AFC North. Reports out of Cleveland